Hi everyone, how's everyone doing today? Hopefully everyone's doing well. So today I would like to have a bit of a different type of video because a friend asked me to and I thought, hey, why not? So today I want to explore of how I spend my money well, maybe not spend my money, how I do everyday spending. To be honest, I have no idea what I'm talking about. So I will just show you what I do to save energy and to save, not save money, but kind of like not spend too much money. I think that's probably a more accurate description of what this video is. It's like how I try not to spend too much money on things that I think as a 36-year-old woman now is a waste of money. Because up until a certain stage you will decide whether this money that you're spending is enough or not. You will come to that stage. So let's start. So one of the first thing that I've done as an adult, especially in my 30s, is that I have switched all my bulbs to let, not all, but like most of my bulbs into a LED light, LED bulbs. So everything that you see in here, this is LED. The reason is this is also LED. This is LED. So the reason is, and all my ceilings lights are also LED lights. So the reason why is because it is very energy efficient. So if you see this, it's called LED glass globe. So this is what I use, and it also have the light outputs is lumens. It also means brightness. So the brightness of the bulb is determined by these lumens. This is 15 watts and that's for 1400 lumens, which means it's very, very bright. So that's this. So this is very bright. The thing is, if you see the sockets for, I know this is becoming like, if you see the socket for most of the light things, it says 25 watt. The reason is because in the past you have to buy a different type of bulb that actually consume more energy, but for less brightness. So now we have the technology, which is in this LED lights technology, to have more brightness but with less energy consumption. So that's why I changed all my bulbs. So this one is 4.5 watts and I got this from IKEA, and this is about, how much is it, about 600 lumens. And if I have to show you also, this is about 400 lumens LED lights, and this is about 5 watts. So that's pretty bright for 5 watts. And the reason is because I really wanted to have something every day. And if you have something every day that you spend your money on, that you use, then you would like for that everyday spending to be very cost effective, because you don't want to reduce your quality of life, but you also don't want to increase your expenditure. So if you see this, like this is a floor lamp, and they actually provide you with 100-watt capacity for this floor lamp to light your room. So for 15 watt, I can illuminate the room for 10% of the energy consumption, for example. So that's how I would spend on like electricity. I know it's pretty boring stuff, one of my biggest expenditure at when you are living on your own, like not with your parents anymore, because your parents stop paying your bills and because you become an adult, is probably your appliances, right? So with your appliances, this takes a lot of energy. So blenders, blah blah blah, and heating takes a lot of energy. So what I would usually do with these ones, so with these appliances, I would unplug them if you don't need them, because if you plug them, it would run energy into the appliances. It's also probably safe to just unplug them because you don't want to have problems like electrical, power surges. I don't unplug these, but if I could, I would, because I don't really spend much time using the microwave. But if you use the microwave a lot, then don't unplug them. But I don't, just because it's very complicated to unplug them. But if it's very convenient for me to plug and unplug it, I would, because that would actually save you time and money. It's like running something if you don't need it. Why? You can just unplug it, and also reduce heat in your house if you unplug your appliances. Especially in summer, we have 41 degrees Celsius, which is around 105 Fahrenheit degrees weather in Sydney, which is a lot. And one of the other things that I do is that I bought these last November, last year, or maybe anyway, near to the summer. One of the reason why is that so I can make smoothie at home. I also can grind my coffee beans at home, and this is about $30. So for $30, for example, I can make like banana smoothie, I can make mango smoothie, and a price for a boba. I still buy boba, I still buy like coffee outside in Starbucks when I leave my apartment, which is really rare, which is like once a week or once every 2 weeks. But if I do go out, I do buy things. It's just that I don't leave the apartment that often, which is probably why this video is probably about how I spend less rather than how I'm trying to save money, because I'm not trying to save money. It's just a lifestyle that, if I still want all these things outside, but I don't want to leave my place, so I have to make them at home. And the byproducts of that is that I save more money because I make them at home. So for example, like a boba can cost in Sydney about $8 to $9. So for 3 bobas or for 3 smoothies, I can buy that blender outright. So that costs about $30, and I can reuse it every now and then and everything. And I can also make like popsicle, icicle for the summer. And one of the benefits is that what goes inside your your icicles, what goes inside your smoothies, what goes inside there. And also one of my really huge indulgence in life is coffee. And I try to do that also by making coffee at home. And the great things about Starbucks is very expensive. One venti can cost me about $7 to $8 per cup, and inside most of that cup is usually probably water or ice if you drink cold drinks. So this is cost me $9 to buy one of these, right? But these can provide me with these. So this is like for the cold drinks, for example, and these can give me like about 10 to 15 glasses of coffee for the next 3 to 4 days. Because when you make this at home, you just make the concentrated version of coffee, and the rest of it you just add ice and water, which is what you would do in a Starbucks anyway. So your $7 to $9 drinks in Starbucks, you are paying for water and ice. And the great thing, I know I'm not sponsored by Starbucks. The thing is with Starbucks, you can actually buy some of the products at local supermarkets, and that will cost you about $5, for example, for about 5 sachets for a caramel macchiato or cappuccino. And there are instant premium coffee, and I have tried some of them in this channel. I will link like the videos in the description box below, and that will save you a lot of money, and they taste quite the same with the ones that you buy in Starbucks. So that would reduce your daily Starbucks consumptions for by like maybe by 80%, because like one sachet costs you $1.50, and if you buy them at Starbucks it could cost you about $7, so $6, so that's about like 4 times the amount that you have to pay. So it's just like a little things like that, because it adds up to your daily expenses, because if you need to figure out what you spend your money most on. And I spend most of my money on on Starbucks and coffee, and like I stay at home, and I would just, you need to make your own food most of the time as well. But because like if you buy them outside, they have to pay for the the rent, the employees, the electricity, all the things that are associated with making that one bowl of noodle, or one bowl of, or one burger. Like, it's not a burger. You're paying for their marketing, you're paying for their premise to do business. So it's all that money associated with that one product that you buy. But if you make them at home, for example, you can get $10 for a whole chicken. $10 for whole chicken. If you maybe like a family of 2 or 3 or 4, it can last either 4 days or just one meal. But for one whole chicken for $10, that's pretty good, because otherwise you have to buy them for, I don't know how much is the price now. In Oppo, for example, it probably can cost about $25 or something. So I use these a lot as well. Dryer, I don't know how people use dryers, but with this one I try to use the most energy efficient with the reduced costs possible. But I couldn't buy like the whole 5 like 6 stars energy ratings. With the energy ratings, this is like, if you have like 6 stars, it means like it's very energy efficient. The reason why I don't buy the most energy efficient possible is because it's expensive. You have to pay upfront for a most energy efficient appliances. If you don't, so this is cheaper compared to the most energy efficient dryer available in the market, because if you run this is more expensive in your electricity bill. So you have a sort of like an exchange. You have to like consider whether it's worth it to pay upfront for the cost of appliances in your home when you buy your own home. For example, I'm taking the laundry out of the washing machine. Hey, we have to do 2 things at once, all right? I'm a woman. We don't do things just once, or like just like segment them. So you have to figure out, if you living by yourself, if you're trying to buy your own appliances, whether is you want to buy things cheaper for the appliances itself, but when you run them, it would cost you more in your bills. So let me give you an example. So this is cost me about, I think, $30. So this is a heater. So this cost me about $30, right? But it is very expensive to run during winter, especially if I want them to be, to run all the time. Well, this one is about $100. This is a convection heater, but this is cheaper to run in, like if I want to run it like 20, like not 24/7, but like 12 hours a day. So at the upfront cost, this is a lot more expensive than that. So in the beginning, sure, you go and buy this because it's a lot cheaper for you to buy. And if you're renting, you don't really want to have bulky items as well. But if you're trying to kind of like, all right, you're gonna rent, but you're gonna stay in this rental place for about, a year or 2 years or 3 years, then I think it's worth it to buy a bigger but more expensive appliances, because it would cost you cheaper to run during those really, really cold winter, for example. It also goes for air conditioning as well. For example, like I have an air conditioning available, but I don't want to use it too much because it's an old air conditioning system, and if it runs on high energy, I don't use it unless I have to. Like the one, like the recent 2 days, Sydney has been 41 degrees Celsius, which is around 105 Fahrenheit, and it's hot, so I turn them on. So in cases like that, I do that, but I use this instead. This cost me $230 Australians, but in America it costs a lot less because it is an American brand. The reason why I bought this is because it runs on the maximum power of 40 watts, and it also runs on a DC motor, which means that it's energy efficient. So it's expensive when you buy them outright, but buy other fans for less of the price, which is like $20, $30, up at like just major appliances shops anywhere you can get, but they won't give you that the same quality. And also because it won't give you the same quality, you probably have to buy multiple of them to make sure that you're cool if you don't want to use your air conditioning system, right? So it will, in my head, it is the logic is the same with the dryer. With the dryer, I can't really afford a higher energy efficient thing, so I bought the cheaper one, but it would cost me a lot more in like bills. But with this, it costs me more upfront, but it will make me pay less electricity bills, because I would run this all the time during summer. Now I just bought this, but like, I would run this and I won't feel guilty at all, because I know that it's not, it's the same energy to run all these bulbs 10 years ago, because 10 years ago I will not use LED bulbs. It would be like some other bulbs that would run at like 15 watts per per bulb, and we have a lot of lights in this apartment. So every day if you turn on the lights, you are running on like, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of watts worth of electricity bills just by doing that. So just by having this, I just feel less guilty, because I know I'm not really spending that much electricity. I don't know why I feel guilty. I'm paying for it. But I don't know. It's just like, a sense of like you don't want to overconsume things. And if you do overconsume things, your apartment or your place will heat up anyway. And you don't need that unnecessary heat, especially during summer in Australia. That's just me. So another things that I do is I buy things without like I'm not following any trends. I just buy things that will still look normal 10 years from now. For example, like this, I bought this year. I bought this about maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. But I also have things that I have bought, like I have bought these like 13 years ago. For example, this jacket, I bought this 13 years ago. It still looks like, just a regular jacket somewhere. It doesn't have any date attached to it. So there are things that I buy that I think if it's quality, you should buy it a lot more expensive. But if it's for everyday things, I buy it like very cheaply. This costs $3.50 from Kmart. $3.50 from Kmart. I like cheap things, okay? And I bought these for $5 from Best and Mess, which is like and it's organic cotton. $5. $5. And I know I'm boring, and that's one of the things of becoming an adult is you become a bit of a bore, which I am very happy with. Also, I need to store this away. But these are cashmere. All of these are cashmere. And you might ask, Valerie, why are you showing us cashmere? These really poshy things that in this trying to save money video. Let me answer your question, sir, because each one of these cost me $60 to buy. Okay, as an Asian, as a cheap Asian, which I don't have any problem admitting, $60 for a cashmere for each one. This usually runs at Uniqlo about $200. So when I see them for $60, I buy a lot of them. The reason is because first, it's very light and it's very warm. And it lasts, well, you have to take care of it. Otherwise, the mites will eat it and you will still have holes. So you need to take care of it quite well. You just go to Google and search how to take care of cashmere. It's not that difficult. But this cashmere, usually at retail, some of them cost about $250. Some of them, if you don't buy them at Uniqlo, for example, it will cost you $400, $500 in other retail shops. So I do buy them for $60 every winter. If they run a sale, I always have to keep an eye on it to buy this, because it's worth your money to buy something that can last for a good time, and it also very light and high quality. You don't have, and it's organic as well, so you don't have to spend your money on things that is artificial and doesn't last long, and your body would hate it. Also, I might have to mention that my body have a high sensitivity to like artificial things, either in food or in things that I wear. Anything that attached to the body, I get very sensitive over. So I have to be careful, which is why cashmere is a great thing for me, because it doesn't have nylon, it doesn't have polyester, so my body doesn't reject it and think that is a alien thing that is trying to, suffocate my body. I know it's sounds very dramatic, but I don't know. Things happen when you get older. Your body change, and your body's starting to say, no, no, I don't want this anymore. But anyway, so yeah, that's the reason why I buy cashmere, is because you do need things. You don't want to be cold during winter, and if you buy, polyester, and if you buy nylons, you can pile them on, but you won't feel warm, because they are not meant to make you warm. Well, that's my experience anyway. So, but if you buy cashmere, you just one layer and it's pretty warm. That's how I got through my European trip. I basically just brought like about 5 cashmere jackets, and it kept me warm for things under minus 20 degrees in a snowstorm. So I guess like from that experience, I learned that the cashmere that doesn't really cost that much is well spent, and you don't need to keep buying more and more unless you want a collection like me, for it to be effective. You want to spend money on something that is effective and can last longer and it doesn't follow trend, things like that. Biggest thing that I have been splurging since 2008 is bed sheets. So this is 1000 thread counts, or cotton satin. So this costs $100. It's a set, so it's not just this. It's just, you know, it comes with the pillows. I'm also doing laundry for the whole thing, by the way. That's why it's a mess. Um, it's $100, but in the past I have spent about $400 because I couldn't find I couldn't find 1,000 thread counts bed sheets in online for a cheaper price. The reason why is because this will not irritate your skin. It also allows your skin to breathe, and I'm using them every single day, right? Thing that you use every single day, you have to, for me, my principle is that you have to make sure that you want to live in it. It's not something that you want to escape from it, I guess. It's because like there are a lot of other circumstances in our lives that we cannot control. So for everything that we can control, you really want to make that work. I feel like I don't know if that applies to this, but I don't know. This is my process of thought. Okay, my like if you buy a bed sheet, you will spend 8 hours 6 to 7 hours every single night in it. And if you're like me, if you have like breathing problems, for example, you have you know, very hypersensitive whole body system, that you also will need to wash your bed sheet very, very often. Which means, like for me, I just do it every once a week, not too often, not too infrequent as well, because you would realize if you have asthma especially, or if you have allergies, a lot of allergies like me, that once a week wash will help tremendously. um, and but if you buy like the cheaper polyester or like a thinner thread count, um, you can buy them for $20 or $30, which is available everywhere, but it won't allow your skin to breathe, for me personally. And because you wash them quite frequent, once a week, it will start to deteriorate very quickly. Maybe after about 2-3 months you have to buy a new one. With this one, I figured it usually lasts about 2-3 years, and I just keep using the same bed sheets. I just wash them every week and then reuse them again. It's quality, but I'm not spending more and more. I'm not spending money on repeating buying the same thing over and over again. So it's the same principle again. Like the fan is like it's high price upfront, but it's low running cost. So that's my principle, is that if you can establish a low running cost, because usually the running cost would last you for years and years, um, that is worth it in my eyes. Because first, it will save you time to figure out, oh, what to buy and what, because those times are valuable. You have to go to a department store, you have to go there, figure out, browse, buy. That's time spent that you will not get back. Okay. um so yeah, that's I don't know, I think that's it. Is that it? So this is probably a contradictory things that I do. So each pair costs $5. Correct. You heard me correct. $5. $5 from Target. Each pair. So these whole 3 pairs cost me $15 in total. This cost me $10. But these are trendy items, meaning like I would use them to look pretty, to look cool, to look like I'm in, but it's still like plain as my clothes, like as the one that I'm wearing. It still follows the same thing, which is it's plain. The colors are neutrals, black, beige, and gray, and so they can be worn 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and it will still look like you are in time. You're not out of time. But this one, This cost me about $250, which probably a very normal price. If all the kids now spend, I don't know, $1,000 on shoes, so $250 for shoes probably don't cost that much. The reason why I bought these is this is like 250, and this is about, I also have these. This cost me about $200. The reason why I bought these is because these also have health benefits. I feel like I'm an old person trying to tell you these things. Um, it has health benefits. It actually forces my calves and my legs to work harder when I use them. So I bought them with the purpose of using them in everyday lives. But when I use them, for example, for grocery shoppings, which is gonna take me usually maybe, if it's very quick, an in and out, 30 minutes. That 30 minutes is not wasted time. It becomes 30 minutes where I'm on my feet and I'm working out my legs, because this has like the body technology where you have to center yourself in the middle. So it will make your body not stable. So the purpose of it is to not stabilize your body, so that your body would work, and it will create to the muscle to become a lot more alert. Because if you use like a flat, if you use a flat shoes like this, your body is out of alignment with your spine. I don't know, is this useful? I feel like I'm talking, but I don't know if this is useful. So I bought them, and they're a little bit more expensive than my $5 shoes, but it's still within normal range. And the purpose of it is that I can use them for working out without actually going to the gym, without actually paying, which I have done in the past. I paid $150 every month to go to the gym. I have to pay $300 membership joining fee. When you go to a corporate job, you have money and you spend them accordingly. But now, because I work from home and I design my own stuff and I sell them online, I'm very aware of how much things I have to sell to purchase each one of it. For example, these cost me $60, which means I have to sell about 30 stickers online, profit wise, for this one shirt. So if you work for yourself, if you're making money on your own, you are very aware of like your money flow, your money outflows. So that's why I guess, like, as you grow older, you want to reduce this unnecessary outflow that you don't use. Anything that you spend money on but you don't use is a waste. So you want to buy things that you use every day. And for me, if I don't use them that often, I don't want to pay money on it that much. Like this, I don't use them that often, so $5. But with the shoes, I use them every day, so I'm willing to pay a lot more. With the bed sheet, I'm using them every day, so I'm willing to pay a lot more for quality. So that's all the things that I think about when I buy things. Is like, am I gonna use this in 10 years? Am I gonna use this in 15 years? And of course, like, there will be things accumulating from, a lot of things that you don't use, and you just have to give them to charity, right? Because you want your space to be reclaimed. And I guess, like, I don't want to be preachy, because that's definitely not the whole purpose of this video. Because I really feel like I don't have the authority to share about like how people should manage their money. And one of the biggest thing is also internet, and also your mobile. I think, like, for kids especially, you really don't need a fancy mobile, right? You don't need you have to figure out why you need a mobile phone. For example, like when I didn't have money, I bought these. This is about $200 Australian dollars, and I still use it now for my bedroom pleasure, meaning that sounds wrong, meaning like I actually use them. What this is not connected to a number, so I just use it for internet. I can just use it at home when I am, want to put YouTube music on, background music on, like, meditation music on, or like when in the morning when I just wake up, I just want to browse Instagram, so I use that for that. But in the beginning I used that because it's $200 and I just paid a prepaid. No, actually I didn't even put a number on it. The reason why I didn't put a number on it, because at that time I couldn't afford it. So I just used my home internet, and I buy prepaid data when I can for $10, and that would give me a two gigabytes for $2 if I spend it in a day. So one day I can spend 2 gigabytes for $2 out of the $10 prepaid amount that I purchased, and that would allow me, for example, to go streaming with Twitch. And sometimes people would donate money, people would give me tips, and I would reuse that money to buy more data so I can do more streaming. Or I use the donation money, tips money, for buying paper, so I can make more art, so I can sell it. So so you don't need to have $1,000 worth of phone with $100 monthly plan bills, for example. You can get away with $200 worth of phone, and then you just recharge $10 every now and then according to your need, and survive that way, for example, if you really need to. And that would still, and if you use your brain enough, you can generate income with that very low budget phone. So I think it's important to do. For right now, I'm using a $20 plan, prepaid. I basically just paid for a whole year worth of data and connection, and it cost me $20 a month. So I just pay in bulk for the whole year, and I will have 20 gigabytes worth of data for $20. Unlimited text, unlimited calls, which I don't use because I don't have any friends, but I really need the data because just in case I want to go streaming, I can spend 20 gigabytes in 1 month. That's a lot. I can spend a whole 6 hours worth of streamings. That's probably cost me about 10 gigabytes. So that's not even, you can do 2 hours, which is 12 hours worth of streaming. And also use my phone when I'm on the train to create designs and upload them to Redbubble, Society 6, and to make me money. So I buy my phones and my gadgets based on the usage of of the of the device. I guess, because I don't know, is it an Asian thing? You want each money that you spent to be useful, or most of it anyway, because I believe I do spend on a lot of useless things. For example, case in point, I bought this massage roller for $4. I do buy like a lot of unnecessary things that you probably think is a waste of money. It is. Like, I bought this thing for $9, but like, I bought this thing for $15 for Kmart. It looks great. It doesn't cost me $150. But I still do want a lot of things that is like, I'm currently lusting over a bag that costs about $200, and it has nothing to do with functionality. It has nothing to do with anything. I just want them. I know it's useless. I know it's overly priced, but I do use them. So yeah, I think this video is very long, but I don't know, maybe it's just dedicated for one person, for my friend that asked. But that's how I spend my money usually. I make my meals at home because most of the time anyway, mainly because I have high allergical response to a lot of things, so it allows me to see what food and drinks I'm allergic to, because if you buy them outside you can't control that. And that's me. So I'm just about to leave the apartment now. I'm just gonna go to my local shops to get groceries, because I have been locked up inside this apartment because of the heat wave that we just had. And yeah, so I don't know, should I end this now or should I not? I'll see you in the next slide. If the next slide is a goodbye, then yes, I will see you there. And we're back. So I also don't use cars, and so I don't have to pay for insurance. I don't even know anything about cars. The reason why I don't drive is because I don't know how to drive, and I always have been living in a city area, in an urban area where I don't have to drive myself around. There's always public transport available, and even in the hottest day, to get things around, it's probably like 1 or 2 days every few years that I have difficulties, probably, but not a lot. So using public transport also save me money, mainly because I don't know how to drive. I also don't drink, and I also don't smoke. I used to smoke socially, and I used to go out a lot as well. When you're young, you go out, and I spent so much money. If you go out, you will spend money. But if you're young, I think it's worth it, because you just need to experiment things. Just consider it like the price of education for life. That's what I would put that down as. But as you get older, you kind of experience things. You've seen enough. You interacted with enough people, so that expenses of going out reduced a lot as well. So you have to consider that. What is it that you spend, in your habits, your bad habits. So I think like spending money is always going to come down to what is it that you spend repetitively, because it's never about that one time buy. It's always about these repetitive things that we spend every day, that is basically leaking money out of us. You want to stop that if possible. For example, Netflix. I don't really need Netflix, but I choose to. So that's definitely a luxury that I do choose to pay, because you can get all the shows. You can basically watch all the internet shows without paying somewhere on the internet. But that's something that I choose to pay as a luxury item every month. But it's $10, $11 a month. I think like the most one that you have to be aware of is your alcohol intake, your daily thing that costs you about $30, $40 a week. If you add that up, that costs you a lot of money. $40 for 52 weeks is about $2,000, I think, isn't it? A year. that you can spend buying Netflix for 200 years. Sorry, 200 months, not years. I also say that I don't have a gym membership, and I think if you really, I know it's really windy out here, but if you really want to get fit and you really need a personal trainer, what I think is best is probably hire the personal trainer and train in a local park somewhere or in a local beach. Or I think there's a lot of ways that you can incorporate exercise into your daily lives, so you don't have to spend that extra $120 a month just to use someone else's facility. Lately anyway, in Australia anyway, they usually have parks where they have like very rudimentary equipments for exercise. You can use that, but if you're very creative, I think you can make a lot of things at home that you know can use. For example, you can get like your water bottle and you know fill it up and use that as weights, just little things like that. I think you can use a lot of the money, especially if you have a gym membership and you don't use it. Like, even though Netflix is a luxury for me, I use it every day. I binge on anything and everything on Netflix. Okay, so that $10 is worth it for me because I will just have 20, like 7 seasons worth of Star Trek in the background. I basically have watched 4 different Star Treks for 7 different seasons. So 7 to multiply by 4. I've watched. So that's like 28 seasons. Multiply by, I don't know, each one probably about 16 episodes. So 24 by 16. Just by the Star Trek alone, I've spent hundreds amounts of episodes for $10 a month, which I think is pretty good. Because if you're old like me, you would remember taking out like 3 pieces of DVDs in your local Blockbuster and paying either $15 or like $20 for only 3 DVDs. So I guess for old person like me, it's totally worth it. But I definitely know you can go out on the internet somewhere and get them for free. But because I started making money a little bit on my own now, I would like to show my appreciation for the fact that I have this technology now in the tips of my finger, just to watch anything that I practically, well, not everything, but a lot of things. But if you don't have Netflix, you can go to your local TV station, and they have most of their shows on demand, so you can watch them for free if you watch the ads, which is basically the same as YouTube, right? I think entertainment is definitely one of those things that I spend quite a bit of money on, but it's a splurge. Also, one of the other things that I haven't mentioned is bank fees. If you can get into a bank that doesn't have any bank fees attached, that would be a huge savings, because some banks, I don't know, in other parts of the country, would need to have a certain amount of money inside your account to maintain a fee-free arrangement. I'm in Australia. We have ING Direct. I have been using this bank for the past 15 years, maybe. So, in a few years, it will be 20 years. And one of the best thing about my bank is that it doesn't have any bank fees whatsoever. And if I take money out, more than $200, for example, it would actually pay me 50 cents as a thank you for taking money out. So, and they also give me rebates on transaction fees like international fees, which is very helpful because I do a lot of transactions using PayPal, using US dollars, which means that I will have to pay conversion fees on those things, and my bank basically just refund me all those money back that being charged for international transaction fees. So as I said, you want to reduce the daily thing that you spend money on. It can be 50 cents, $2, $5, whatever. But these daily things that can make or break, your quality of life. So for me, one of that is my bank. Um, my bank thing. I don't have bank fees, and they pay me if I take money out, which I found to be great. In the past, 15 years ago, we actually have to write and send it in an envelope to the bank. So everything now is done digitally, right? In the past, you actually have to do all the whole paperwork, which I think was worth it. Efforts is worth it if it gives you that constant benefits every day. So I guess you can see a theme about the way I run my life. It's like if it gives me daily benefits, it's worth the efforts, it's worth the money. So I went shopping for a bit, and this is just the prices of what I've seen out there. $30, $40 for a dress or for a top. So now I'm in Kmart, which is a discount type of supermarket. So this is $5. So you can buy this for $5 and use it as weights if you are cutting down on your gym expenses. In this Kmart, I wanted to buy some singlets for summers, some shirts, and they're pretty cheap. It costs about $5 per shirt, and it's cotton as well, which means that my body won't throw a tantrum at me. So the singlets, it costs about $2.75. It's just under $3, and they're all new. These are brand new shirts, brand new clothes. They're not. I'm not in a thrift shop. So I'm also in the men's section. I just want to show you that the men's sections are also affordable. They have T-shirts for $10. Actually, they're probably a lot more expensive than women's. I'm not sure why. Um, so these are really pretty, actually. These shirts, and it costs $8. Maybe because of the fabric. You guys use a lot more fabric than we do. I'm not sure if that is a bullshit thing for me to say. But for $8, I think they were pretty affordable. So I'm just counting how many items I have. So that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, and that's 6. So I'm buying 6 random t-shirts. Ooh, I like this koala neon light. So it cost me a total of $29.15. So just $30 for all 6 items. So one of the things that I do when I go out is that I buy my drinks at the supermarket because it's cheaper, and if you buy it outside, it's the same products anyway, but it's a lot more expensive. So if you see this, it's $3, but if you buy outside, it probably can cost you up to $6 for 600 milliliters. And I know it's just like really such a cheapskate things to do, but I don't know. I just don't want to buy things too expensively unless it's different products. Even with these, right? These are still expensive, but if you quickly want to grab something on the go, it's still affordable, I think. But for me personally, I think this is still expensive. With groceries, even though I do buy them at the supermarket, local I still sometimes buy them at my Asian grocery shops because there are things that actually are fresher and cheaper by 50%, like bok choy, Chinese Chinese cabbage, something like that. That is a lot cheaper in a Chinese grocery shop or Asian grocery shop than it is in the local supermarkets. But there are also other things that are cheaper in the supermarkets than they are in the Asian grocery shop. For example, Shin ramen is better if you buy them at the supermarket in Australia rather than in the Asian shop, because it's cheaper in the supermarkets than it is in the Asian shop. Maybe because economy of scale. Um, yeah, just little things like that. You just pay attention about how much things are priced, because even though it's the same product made, everything is identical, they can be very priced differently. And the difference between buying outside the supermarket, like 10 seconds away from the supermarket, can cost you $2 per item. And if it's something that you buy very often, that can cost you a lot in a year, because you buy them repetitively. So I think if it's something that you buy frequently, repetitively, I think it's worth just looking at the price point and compare those prices in your local areas. I also like to check just these things. For example, $7 for that big of so that's like per kilo. So this one costs $12 for that much. That can feed a family of four, I think, for a good maybe a family of six, right? You can just put rice and you have a meal. So this is like a whole chicken for $4. $4.90 per kilo. So the price is about $5 for a whole chicken. If you know what to do with it, it's pretty simple, but at the same time, you're also saving money. I guess all of these things are just when you want to save some money. If you are flush with a lot of cash, then you don't have to pay attention with what you buy and what you need to purchase, because the money will keep coming in, which is fine, because eventually I feel like that's what I would like to do as well. But I still find myself a bit careful when it comes to just spending, maybe because out of habit. um, Especially when you don't have money, you realize like how like certain products are cost. So those habits from the whole hard times are still with me, and I feel like I don't want to spend money on things that are identical to each other. um, More, I don't want to spend more money on things that are identical to each other. Like it's the same products, but because you buy them at different places, it costs a lot more. Or it's the same cotton shirt, but if you buy them at this place, you spend more money. It's like that. Those little things. Like I don't mind spending money on quality, but yeah. I know this video is getting very, very long. I haven't spoken to anyone in a while, so this is just gonna be one of those weird long videos, I guess. Well, there have been a lot of no talking vlogs, so you will just have to put up with me. I know I've talked about this in other vlogs before, but if you are a big fan of coffee, you really should get these for at home. So it costs $7 in Australia. So this coffee is a white coffee, 3-in-1 coffee, and you get 15 sachet in here. So it costs about 50 cents per cup, and it tastes very much similar to a latte, a sweet Starbucks latte. And I'm pretty picky when it comes to my coffee, so this is a very good buy if you want to cut down on your coffee habit, but you don't want to sacrifice flavor. So that's very good coffee. Other things that is, this one is $3.15 at Woolies, but at an Asian grocery shop it can cost you up to $6 for the same products. So if you are a fan of this sesame oil, it's probably better if you buy them at your local supermarket. Just random things I found. What is this? Is it going to poison me with sugar? So this is very popular in Australia. As you can see, by the end of the day, there is nothing left. It's pretty, I think it's pretty cool. $10 for that big of a, that is a roast chicken, by the way. It's a roast chicken, one whole roast chicken. And it's hot, ready to eat. I think I'm going to end this here today. I'm picking up salmon. um, because I think it's gonna be running very long. But let me know if you're interested in this kind of videos. I don't know. I'm not confident at all doing this video by any means because it's definitely outside my comfort zone. It's something that I do every day, but I don't know whether it's going to be useful enough for people because, as I say, I kind of want to use this channel as a no-brainer type of thing. People can switch off and come and just, you know, chill out. And this channel is definitely a hobby because I do a lot of things on the internet and I don't want to use this channel as only for income producing activities. I do want to just use it to experiment with a lot of video editing things. So let me know and I'll see you later. Bye everyone.